All right, on some happier things for the future. We did get a commitment. Woo! Baylor football on Friday, end of the week last week. Edward Griffin, who we talked about taking the visit to the facility on Thursday. By Friday, he puts out the tweet. He is committed. He's going to be a Baylor Bear. The Coppell Cowboy, who led them to the district title this year, 12-1. He was the district player of the year, by the way, and I think that's 6-6A up in Coppell. I could be wrong there. A tremendous season, one that they haven't had there in a while, and he was a huge reason why. Obviously, the district MVP, 41 touchdowns, 3 picks, completed 74% of his passes. That's a real sturdy stat line against a real sturdy level of competition. So, see a 3-star. Yes. Before I have you in the comments saying, why are you hyping up another 3-star? Yes. But I mean, you look at those numbers against that competition. And to me, that's not all 3-stars are created equal. And this is on the high end of being a 3-star. I am intrigued by the fact that after they lost Adam Schobel, they took a couple of weeks before they sent out any other offers. And Griffin was the first offer from Jake Spavital after that. Like, you just look at the timeline. That's correct. He offered him, I think it was May 10th. And less than 2 weeks later, Griffin is signed on and is a Baylor Bear. He's putting that out on Twitter. And look, he could well be a guest on the Locked On Baylor podcast this week. He just could be. It could be. There have been talks. And we love a quarterback with the last name Griffin. I can't say that enough. I'll probably say that to him, get a big chuckle if he's going to be on the show this week anyway. But it's nice to see that they didn't wait around too much for the class of 25. Because again, that's been the problem with Baylor the last couple of years is kind of putting their eggs into one basket and it not paying off and being late in the game. They could well have done that with the Schobel situation. Like, that was my biggest fear. Not that they weren't going to get anybody in, because they were going to get somebody in the whole time. But if they had waited throughout the summer and these guys are entering in their senior year, the crop is just a lot different from really around this time, late May, and then specifically before June, when these guys start going to camps and some official visit days. That's when you see a lot of them get snatched up. And even the guys who are committed now, not necessarily Baylor guys, but there will be some that flip their commitments here in the next month. So to get a guy committed before them is, I think, big. But we'll just have to see, because again, I don't know how much they'll go in the transfer route. Speaking of that, you got 2 transfer quarterbacks right now. I thought about this during the weekend. Like, what would it take for DeQuan Finn to not be the starter? What would you have to see from Sawyer Robertson to not be the starter? And when are we going to find out who the starter is going to be? What's the first game? August 31st? We might find out August 30th. We might find out August 31st. Who knows? I will say, though, and we will do an episode on this at some point and really break these things down. Baylor, under Dave Aranda, the way they are right now, cannot afford to not know who their quarterback is come week 1. Because there are teams that will try out a couple, and we saw this actually with Matt Rule twice, where he brought in a more experienced quarterback and said, okay, this guy's going to start week 1. It happened back-to-back years, and both times Charlie Brewer took over before week 3. So Baylor in this current construction is just not in a position, and the head coach does not have the job security to be able to do that. They need to ride with their guy, which worked out at times with Blake Shapen, but I think if some of these guys had to do it over again, they probably would have gone with Gary Bohannon instead. Look, that we'll never know. But they need to have a guy that they are solidly behind as we go into that first game against Tarleton. Let me know who you think that should be. Drop that down in the comments below. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. We really appreciate that. And if you want to keep up to date on all the Baylor sports news, be sure to give us a like and ring the notification bell, because we are your first listen today and every day. We are your exclusive home for nothing but Baylor sports content 5 days a week that's not coming straight from the university. Be sure to follow us here on YouTube and also wherever you get your podcasts, and on Twitter as well at Locked On Baylor. Thanks so much again. Have a good one, and sick 'em.